Welcome to week 5, Explore the Bible. We're continuing in the book of Job. We're working through chapter 36 today, so we're going to look at this. And here's where another friend comes up. His name is Elihu, and he has words to say to Job. And so we're going to see, I think we've looked at some of this before. We'll see some more of what he has to say. It says first, he opens their ears. This is Elihu speaking. He opens their ears to correction. This is talking about the Lord. He tells them to repent from iniquity. If they listen and serve him, they will end their days in prosperity and their years in happiness. But if they do not listen, they will cross the river of death and die without knowledge. This is the Lord's mercy, the Lord's justice, the Lord's offer of grace, right? That the Lord's going to open your ears to correction. He's going to tell you, repent from your iniquity, turn from that. If you listen and serve him, good things happen, right? But if you don't listen, you're going to cross the river of death and die without knowledge. This is a very clear statement here. You know, the Lord gives you an opportunity to repent. What are you going to do? How are you going to respond to his offer of grace, his offer of forgiveness? How are you going to respond to him telling you, turn from your sin and turn towards me, right? Listen, respond to this. What's going to happen? So this clear statement, and part of this is to say that this comes from the Lord's direction, not from our direction. It's not about what we do. The other friends basically say, hey, if you do good things, God's going to love you. And if you don't do bad things, then you're in trouble. And that's why things have happened to you, Job, because you didn't do good things. So this is what happened to you. And he says, really it's from God. What is God doing? And are you responding to what God has to say and listening to him? And if you do, then he blesses. If not, well, then difficulty happens, right? And you're going to die without knowledge. You're going to die without him. He says, those who have a godless heart harbor anger. Even when God binds them, they do not cry for help. They die in their youth. Their life ends among male cult prostitutes. God rescues the afflicted by their affliction. He instructs them by their torment. Okay. People who have rejected God, who are at war with him and remain at war out of their pride, whatever it is, they harbor this anger with God, that even when God tries to pull them back, even when he binds them, right, when he puts them in a situation where they need to cry out for him, they don't cry out for him, right? When he puts them in a place where they need to seek God, where they should look for mercy, they don't look for that mercy, and so they die in their youth, right? Their life ends, and here this day, life ends among the male cult prostitutes. You end with a bottom of life. This is where you go when you reject God's mercy, when you reject God's call. And look at how God's mercy shows up at times. God rescues the afflicted by their affliction. He instructs them by their torment. This is some of that message to Job. Hardship is not always, you can't say that because you're going through hardship, it's because you're in trouble with God. It may be that what God is doing is he's using that hardship to bring you to grace, to bring you to mercy, to bring you to himself, right? That he's teaching you about himself and who you are and who he is because of the things that you're going through. He instructs you by your torment. I know we don't want to go through hard times. We don't want to endure through difficulties, but the reality is that enduring through those things, God uses those things that when we go through difficulty, when we are being chastened to the point where we're crying out to the Lord, this is the way God brings us back. And he says some people, when God binds them, they don't cry for help. They don't go to the Lord, and that the Lord uses those things to bring them back. But not everybody responds that way. Not everybody comes back like they should. And certainly there is this encouragement to Job to not see the hardship as just a hardship, but to see this as an opportunity to put faith in God and to trust the Lord. Okay? Look, can all your wealth or all your physical exertion keep you from distress? What's the answer to that? No. Right? You do everything you want. It's not going to keep you away from hard times. Right? Your money is not going to save you. Your work, your hard effort, putting everything you have into it, it's not necessarily going to keep you from going through difficulty, right? So do not long for the night when nations will disappear from their places. Be careful that you do not turn to iniquity, for that is why you have been tested by affliction. Don't turn to iniquity. Don't turn to sin. Don't turn to those things. That's when the affliction then becomes that opportunity for faith, right? Don't long for this, that's for death, right? Don't long for an end to this, and just let me get out of here, right? Don't long for that. Long for the Lord. Be careful you don't turn into sin. You don't turn to sin, right? Be careful about that. This is the warning to Job that's very important, right, for him to listen to. And then he says this. He closes out with this. Look, God shows himself exalted by his power. Who is a teacher like him? Who has appointed his way for him? And who has declared you have done wrong? Okay, this is a little bit of a precursor to what we're going to see next week when we get into chapter 40 and even chapter 42 in the last week that we're in Job, right? But this word that he's giving to Job is, the Lord's going to show himself in power in your life. He shows himself in power all over the place. Who are you? Are you a teacher like him? Have you appointed his way? Have you told him what to do, right? Have you said to God, well, God, you're wrong? Watch out for that. Watch out for this haughty attitude. Watch out for this prideful attitude. It is a prideful attitude, isn't it, that says, well, God must have missed this because I don't deserve this. Well, who are we to say we don't deserve anything, right? Who are we in that? We have no place there. I think that one of the things about Job, to me, that's important for us to realize, and I think we'll see this in the next 2 weeks, but certainly we're seeing this here and we've seen it throughout. There is a need for man to recognize our place and God's place, who we are and who God is, and to not think that we deserve things, that we have earned the right somehow, that life ought to be easy for us, or any of that, to have this humility and to have this correct understanding of who we are and who God is and what our place is in the universe and in the stature of life, okay? And here he's saying, we're not God. There is a God, and it's not me, it's not you, right? We need to realize this and to not think that just because some hardship comes that somehow God has treated us wrong, but also to not think that because we've done right, we deserve everything to be easy. The reality is that God's going to use all of life. He redeems all of life. He calls us back, and I think this is a lot of that God is calling us back through everything that happens. God is calling us back to himself. And be careful when you say, well, I want justice. I want what's right. I don't want justice. I want mercy. I want grace. I could not stand up under God's justice. I don't want that. I want mercy and grace. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope it helps you as you prepare and teach. Thanks for doing it. This is a tough book. It's some tough places, but you keep enduring through it and reading and just some humility and find that in there, okay? Share this, subscribe to our channel, all of that. Comment below. Let us know insights that you have or how it's helping you. Okay, we'll see you next week.